one area that we all need to master and learn throughout our career, whether we are working for a corporate or doing our own business, that is executive communication. So why is it called executive communication? Because communication is communication. The difference here from a normal day-to-day communication and an executive communication is we either want to inspire someone so they follow us, or we want to sell an idea without being too salesy. Number 3, we want to make sure that people understand from top to bottom what we are trying to say. And this is executive communication. Executive communication has many forms. It can be a one-to-one conversation. It can be a meeting. It can be an address to a larger population. So let's say if it's a one-to-one communication, if it's an important conversation, it's always advisable to prepare for it. What is the outcome you're looking for? If it's a sales pitch, make sure that you know all the facts. But beyond that, try and focus on your body language. Try and build a rapport with the other person. I have worked with executives. They focus too much on the content, what they will be discussing, but sometimes ignore the rapport building, which is the ability to read the other person. And again, it's an acquired skill and extremely important in a one-to-one setting. If it's a group meeting and you're presenting, then again, knowing your subject is extremely important. But what is also important, your ability to read the room, to ability to tweak the messages, and also to listen. Because sometimes when we are in the flow and we want to convey our message, we forget to pay attention to what others are thinking. And always remember that there'll always be naysayers in the group. They'll always be the ones who are supporting. And the idea is that you don't get stressed about the people who are challenging your idea, because there'll always be some who like to get more information or they don't completely buy your idea. The idea is, how do you come across in front of them? 1, do you listen to their point of view? 2, are you able to remain calm without coming across too flustered? 3, are they making sense? If they are, then, and if you don't have an answer, it's okay. You can accept that. I also feel that some of us, we tend to speak very fast when we are very nervous. And if you have that tendency, try and slow down, especially if it's a group meeting. Now, another situation is you're not presenting, but you're attending a meeting. So if you want to have that executive presence, how do you want to come across? Number 1, pay attention to the content and avoid using your mobile. And I know I've been guilty of that. It's a huge distraction, and sometimes I forget what the presenter is talking about, and it does compromise your executive presence. So keep your mobile aside and pay attention. 2, take notes, especially if it's an unfamiliar subject. 3, ask questions, because when you're asking a question, number 1 shows that you are interested in that subject. Number 2, you're enhancing your own knowledge. Also, pay attention to your body language. Just because you're not presenting doesn't mean you're invisible. People are still looking at you. So if you're not sitting in an alert posture, if you are not present fully, and if you're not listening, people will notice you and they will form an opinion. And it's part of executive communication. It's just that it's non-verbal. The third form of communication, when you're addressing a gathering. If it's a big gathering, try and do a rehearsal in your private setting and look at the video and see what your body language is like. Is your message clear? Because if it's a large gathering, then the message needs to be very, very clear. Purpose of the message, what is it about? Is there any follow-up or action that is required? And it has to be as simple as that. I always encourage people before their big meeting or big gathering, pay attention to what you will be wearing, pay attention to your body language, and finally, your delivery. Another dimension of executive communication is written form, whether you're writing an email or a WhatsApp or you're responding to people's query. Typically, it's very, very important that the messages that you're writing you're comfortable with it even if they are published tomorrow in the major newspaper. Because if you can stand by that communication, that means you're okay with it. And especially these days where WhatsApp messages, where screenshots are fairly common. I mean, I'm surprised. Sometimes there is a communication, an internal communication, and within seconds, people outside that organization they know exactly what has happened and they have the screenshot. So be very, very careful what you write. Now, that doesn't mean that you will talk in superficial manner. Of course, there will be some real messages in those emails, in those communication. So how you write it is extremely important. The choice of words, the way you're structuring your sentences, they're extremely important. So in summary, executive communication is something that we all are learning throughout our career. And it does play an important role when we want to inspire people, we want to align our teams, and we want to make an impression. Therefore, investing in learning that skill is extremely important. Understanding our own flaws with regards to executive communication, whether we are shy in a group setting or our one-to-one conversations are not always that authentic. Understand where the gaps are. And once we know the gaps, we can take actions to address those gaps. If you're looking to transform your leadership style, join my one-to-one coaching or my platform Growth Gatherings. Thank you for joining Skill Booster by Fariha Salahuddin. If you like the content of this video, please share with your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to like and subscribe my channel.